it's Rod. Thanks for stopping by. Well, this is part 2 of my Grizzly Tools ukulele kit build. I'm not sponsored by Grizzly Tools. I've said that before. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily affix the fretboard to the neck so I can measure the scale length for this bridge that I'm going to use, because I'm not going to use the bridge that came with it. There's a reason for it, and I'll get to that later. So and once I do that, we'll probably go ahead, clean it up, and spray some lacquer on it. So let's get started. Okay, I've already got tape on my ukulele, and there's a center line right here, and it lines up with the center line on the body. And I want to use this bridge, so I need to get my center line, and then I can measure out the scale length. I'm not going to use the bridge pattern they gave me with the kit because it just doesn't match up with this bridge. So we need to find center, measure the scale length, then I can mark the position for my bridge. So what I want to do is I want to line up my straight edge with the line on the neck and the body. That will give me my center position. Now that's centered on the body. Okay, now that I have center, I want to temporarily attach the fretboard to the neck, and I'm just going to super glue it on there. I've got some blue painter's tape on both of them so I can peel it back off once I get everything set up. You got to set it on the 14th fret. There's 12, 13, 14. Right where the neck joins the body. Okay, I got my fretboard glued on. I have center marked on the bridge on both sides. I'm going to line those marks up with a center line on my blue tape best I can. Now I know that the scale length is 15 inches from the edge of the fretboard to the edge, inside edge of the nut. So I'm going to measure both sides, and that should square it up. Now make sure that I'm centered up on my line. That's centered up. All right, now the bridge is square, and I'll mark it out. And now I have my bridge position. Now I can cut the excess tape out, pull the fretboard off, and I can go ahead and shoot some lacquer on it. Okay, there's one thing I did forget to do before we put the lacquer on it is, when you put the neck on, the neck sticks out just a little bit on the back, and I need to cut that off. So I'll put some tape on the back of it. And I'm going to take my little fine saw here, and I'm going to cut it off. Alright, now I'm going to sand that up, and we can put the lacquer on it. Okay, I'm about to spray the lacquer on this. I've got the neck taped up. I know I'm going to spray it, but I'm going to spray it with a 1-to-1 mixture of lacquer and reducer because I don't want it that thick. I just want a light coat on this. The body, I'm going to spray about 3 coats of just straight lacquer, and I found out after doing the cube strat that I did and the acoustic guitar that I built, spraying the lacquer, that lacquer is really thick, and when you spray it on there, it's prone to get orange peel. So I'm just going to put about 3 coats of the straight lacquer on the body, let it dry, sand it a little bit, then I'm going to go back and put about 3 or 4 coats of a 1-to-1 mixture of lacquer and reducer, which is going to get rid of any of the orange peel on it, because it's going to lay down a little bit better. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it comes out with a whole lot better finish on it. So let me get set up and we'll spray it with some lacquer. Not really going to make it pop, so I'm going to let this dry. I'll spray another coat on it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, the body's been drying for about 2 or 3 hours. It's dry to the touch. And my original plan was to untape the neck and paint the neck and the body with some reduced lacquer tomorrow. But I can't do that. I kind of got a step ahead of myself, because the neck is actually a little bit wider than the fretboard. So I have to sand the neck down to match the fretboard. And if I put the lacquer on the neck, then I have to restain it with the teak oil and wait and then repaint it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue the fretboard on today. I'm going to let it sit for about 2 or 3 hours. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to sand it, put the teak oil on it, and then tomorrow I can tape up the fretboard and put the reduced lacquer on it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue the fretboard on it. A little bit of glue. And remember, you got to line it up. The 14th fret, it's 12, 13, 14th fret with the seam where the neck meets the body. 14th fret right there. Clamp it. Clamp it. Okay, I just want to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to record the whole thing. I got a paint stick with some 320 sandpaper on it, and I'm just going to go down the edge of the neck and sand it until it gets flush with the fretboard. And then once I get that, I'll go back and I'll put some teak oil on it and then let it dry. Tomorrow I can come back and put the lacquer on it. Okay, lacquer is dry. You can probably see a little bit of orange peel on it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tape up the fretboard, and I'm going to sand the body with some 800 grit sandpaper just to get any dust or anything off of it. And I'm going to lay it on a table flat on some little stands, and I'm going to coat it with the 1-to-1 mixture of lacquer and reducer on the back side. I'm going to let it dry for about an hour, and I'm going to flip it over and do the front side. And I'm going to do that until I get about 5 coats on both sides. Let's get started. Okay, I got the fretboard taped up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 800 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to lightly go over the top. All I want to do is knock off any dirt or dust or anything like that on it. I'm not trying to get any of the orange peel out of it, just the dirt. Okay, now I need to wipe it down. I'm going to wipe it down with some denatured alcohol, and then we can shoot some lacquer on it. Okay, I wipe it down with denatured alcohol, and one of the main reasons why I wipe it down is to get my oily fingerprints off of it. And I got my little stands there. I'm going to wipe down the neck. Take my tack cloth, wipe it down. All right, shoot the back side, let it dry for an hour, and we'll flip it over. Okay, that's going to take about an hour, hour and a half for it to cure up so I can flip it. And when you spray that mixed lacquer 1-to-1, now it's thinner, so you got to be careful. If you put too much on it, it's going to run a whole lot easier. So we'll let this dry, we'll come back and we'll do the front. Okay, I got the first coat on the front, I got the first coat on the back and the sides, I got the first coat on the neck. I'm going to put the other 4, maybe 5 coats on it off camera, then we'll come back and wet sand it, polish it up, set the bridge, and get some more done. But that's going to be in part 3. So I hope you enjoyed this part. I appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.